This program is rated TV MAL and is intended for mature audiences. Viewer discretion is advised.
So, how about this? A miniseries where I play a handsome astronaut who ages in reverse. Right? Great. Great talking to you, James Cameron, his assistant. Ooh. Oh my God, you scared me.
Don't bring up God, okay? I'm the devil, remember?
You're not getting my soul. You haven't lived up to your end of the bargain.
What are you talking about? You're a famous hot person. That was the deal.
No, the deal was I'd be a famous movie star.
You're one of the biggest movie stars of all time. I loved you in Edge of Tomorrow.
It was Tom Cruise.
Shit, really? He was great. But anyway, I just wanted to say, have fun tonight, but I gotta head out.
You're not staying?
No, I hate roasts. They're too mean.
Oh. Well, do you have any advice?
Yes. Take everything personally, open with your best rape joke, and if the night goes slow, just go into the audience, grab a baby, and slap it.
Wait a minute. That's terrible advice.
What can I say? I give terrible advice. I'm a terrible guy. Just like that character you played in Tropic Thunder.
That was Tom Cruise.
I did it again.
So, after tonight, you're taking my soul.
No, I can't. You already sold your soul when you did those stupid DirecTV commercials. Now go on out there and give as good as you get. Hey, Rolo, I gotta come clean. I know I look amazing, but I'm not the devil. This is a fake tail. This comes off. I'm weird-eyed and barely funny television's Amy Poehler. 5 years ago on Parks and Rec, we thought it would be funny to pull this prank, but it feels mean now. I'm sorry.
Good try, Mr. Devil.
God bless that beautiful dummy. No live tweeting this bitch.
Comedy Central roast of this fucking guy, Rob Lowe. And now, please welcome your roast master, David Spade.
Thank you. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Comedy Central roast of Rob Lowe. That's right, we're here to honor one of the biggest stars of 1987. With some of the biggest stars of 1984. Ralph Macchio's here. Ralph's a great guy. I drove over here with him. Gave him 5 stars. Many of you know Rob from Parks and Rec. A lot of you know him from The West Wing. A couple people know him from Grindr. And if you swiped right, you met him in person 10 minutes later. At one time, Rob was one of the biggest stars in the world. He was an A-list actor. He was named one of the 50 most beautiful people in the world, and he fucked the other 49. These are compliments. And now, the moment your stepmom has been waiting for, Rob Lowe's package.
I'm Rob Lowe. And I'm painfully awkward, Rob Lowe.
And I'm Meathead Rob Lowe.
And I'm Crazy Harry, Rob Lowe.
You don't want to be like me anyway.
Who's ready to make a motherfucking movie? Get low, get low, get low, get low, get low, get low.
Where's my hug?
At 20, you have affairs with every leading lady that you've been in a movie with.
Where do you read these?
National Enquirer, which does not lie.
What you got on underneath that skirt?
You should know.
As you get older and you experience life,
You take on new sensations that have to be recorded.
Rob Lowe was considered a promising young Hollywood heartthrob. Then came the infamous videotape.
When did you find out she was 16?
Ha! A little too late.
Rob Lowe's big Snow White musical number is an Oscars disaster.
Literally, a never-ending roller coaster of emotion.
Is this how you guys decide to go to war?
I don't know, I'm usually not in the room when they do that.
Sam.
Could somebody get her a cupcake or something? Who wants Chinese takeout?
This guy is good.
You know what your problem is? Your face.
A handsome man comes with a price. It's a burden.
Scientists believe that the first human being who will live 150 years has already been born. I believe I am that human being.
Whoa.
So freeing.
Are you gonna squirt some? You gonna cry? You gonna cry tonight?
New uniforms for the playoffs?
Sorry. This may not be the Rob Lowe that people are used to see, but it's the Rob Lowe that's inside me. The hard cocks. That handsome man.
It's a shame we had to sit through all that just to see 5 seconds of the sex tape. And please welcome our guest of honor, my buddy, Rob Lowe. Rob, good to see you. How's it going?
So far, so talk to me in about an hour.
Is this guy hot or what? There's not a dry pussy in the place. Have a cleanup on every chick's chair. For years, Rob Lowe had a sex addiction, but he cured it by getting less famous. Rob was in a movie called The Outsiders back in the day. Remember that? His character was called Soda Pop because at the time, Rob was 98% coke. I remember the first time I became aware of Rob. I was at a casting meeting for Tommy Boy when I came across your headshot, and I do mean came across. He's good looking. It's not easy being Rob. He said being so handsome made it difficult for him to find meaningful roles. I wanted to ask Brad Pitt about that, but he was too busy acting in meaningful roles. Rob's not a gay man, but he plays one every moment of his life. Rob has a line of skincare products. You can buy them online. You won't, but you can. Our younger audience might not know who you are, so kids, this is who your mom thinks about when she's fucking your dad. Rob was great on The West Wing. You remember that show? I assume your pal Charlie Sheen helped you with that. He's used to working with AIDS. White House AIDS. What did you get? Oh. Rob looks great for his age. Many people have wondered if he's had any plastic surgery. Those same people have wondered if Caitlyn Jenner has any plastic surgery. Rob came up at a time when a sex tape could really ruin your career. But Rob had to do it the hard way, with his acting. Rob was in the Austin Powers movie 16 years ago. Can you believe it's 16? Or as he calls it, 18. Yeah. Those are little jabs. Rob was in Austin Powers too. He was excited to meet the cat, Mr. Bigglesworth, since it had been a while since he'd made a movie with a hairless pussy. Rob has been clean and sober for 26 years. To put that in perspective, that's right. 26 years. To put that in perspective, if sobriety was a baby, he would have fucked it 10 years ago. It really makes you... Rob has been called the comeback kid. No, I read that wrong. Rob has come on the back of a kid. That's right, in the video. That's right. Glad we got that out of the way, all right? Here we go. It's time for me to stop yapping and to bring up the first roaster. Pete Davidson. Pete's dad never got to see him on SNL because he passed away on 9/11. Pete's mom has never seen him on SNL because she blinks. Is Pete white? Is he black? And Coulter needs to know if she can decide if she hates him. Pete, I actually thought you were black, but I guess you just have your dad's ashy skin. Here he is, Pete Davidson.
Whoa, Macaulay Culkin looks worse than I thought. You know, last year we did Bieber, and now it's Rob Lowe. Who's next? Flo, the progressive lady? David, thanks for taking time away from waiting for Sandler to write Grown Ups 3 to be here. David Spade's assistant once tried to kill him in his sleep, and the world was shocked to find out you could afford an assistant.
It's not bad.
Rob Riggle is here. I actually really love Rob Riggle. Rob was a Marine. The few, the proud, which also describes his fans. Peyton Manning's here. I fucking love Peyton Manning. He's the shit. Peyton looks like if football players evolved to no longer need helmets. No, seriously, Peyton, I love all of your work, especially when I saw you in the Goonies yelling, "Hey, you guys!" A Super Bowl is also what Peyton's mom had to cut his hair with as a child. Jimmy Carr is here. When I first met Jimmy Carr, I thought, wow, Jeff Dunham's puppets are getting amazing. Jimmy, you look like a butler in a haunted mansion. Nikki Glaser's here. I'm friends with Nikki, so she's very funny. You know, Nikki has a show called Not Safe, though most people call it Not Schumer. Ah, fuck you. Well, Ralph Macchio's here. That's really cool, right? Ralph Macchio, right? You may know Ralph Macchio from saying wax on, wax off if you've been to the car wash on Melrose and La Brea. And Ann Coulter is here, everybody. Ann Coulter, if you're here, who's scaring the crows away from our crops? You know, Ann describes herself as a polemicist, but most people call her a cunt. You know, last year we had Martha Stewart, who sells sheets, and now we have Ann Coulter, who cuts eye holes in them. Anyway, Jewel's here. Jewel, I won't make fun of you yet, because I want to give everyone at home time to Google who you are. My mom really wanted me to get you to sign this. I don't know what the fuck it is. If it's a phone, it's broken, but She'd really appreciate if you could sign this. My mom came here to see you, so yeah. Let's hear it for Rob Lowe, okay? Right? Rob Lowe. Or as gonorrhea doctors call him, patient zero. People call Rob Lowe a bad actor, but that's only because they never saw him tell his wife he didn't fuck that nanny. Rob has 2 beautiful kids here. Not his children, they're just guaranteed in his contract. Rob was the first male spokesperson for the Lee National Denim Day, which raises millions of dollars for breast cancer research. You know, that's a great thing. It's a disease, yeah. It's a disease that his mother, his grandmother, and great-grandmother suffered from. But you still fucked a 16-year-old girl in 1988. It doesn't change anything. You still did that.
I'm coming for you.
No, seriously, thank you for having me here. I don't know why I'm here. I don't know who any of you are, really. It's like I was born after all this happened. But seriously, you've had an amazing career, and I'll be extremely lucky if I'm, able to tell jokes up here 30 years later. Actually, no, that would mean I would just be Jeff Ross, so never mind. Give it up for Rob Lowe, everybody. Thank you.
Up next is Rob Riggle. You may not know this, but Rob Riggle was a pilot in the Marines who got shot down at SNL, ABC, and HBO. Things were so tough for him at SNL, his call time was Sunday morning. Please welcome Rob Riggle.
Come on, David Spade. Give it up for David Spade tonight as our host. Doing a great job. Thanks, David, for giving me a copy of your autobiography before the show. David always keeps a copy on him because it helps him reach the steering wheel, honestly. Tiny little baby man is what I'm saying. The only thing shorter than David Spade is Jules' greatest hits album. Oh, 2 songs. Save your soul, save your money. What else we got? Holy shit! Is that Ann Coulter? Ann Coulter is here, which can mean only one thing. Someone must have said her name 3 times. Beetlejuice, Beetlejuice, Beetlejuice! Jimmy Carr's here. Freaking limey. Anyway, Jimmy's here. He's representing a new British invasion, and not the good one with the Beatles, the first one where we had to shoot them all. USA! USA! Jeff Ross, the Roastmaster General, huh? Jeff's a regular at the Friars Club, but that really shouldn't be a surprise to anybody. I mean, they serve food. Fat! Ugly! Nowhere else to go! Pete Davidson's ugly. He's actually going on his 3rd year of SNL. It's been a while since I've been there, of course, but you got to help me out now. Is it the 4th year that they finally let you see an orthodontist? Jacked up teeth! Fix that shit! Jimmy Carr's got better teeth and he's British! And then there's the sheriff. Well, well, well. Old number 18, Peyton Manning. Peyton, as you know, is from New Orleans, but you might not know this, though. After Katrina, he helped displaced families by letting them stand on his forehead for 2 days. A real New Orleans saint. Room for everyone, folks. Hey, look, it's Ralph Macchio. How cool is that? Said no one ever. Swept the leg. Karate Kid 2 is the worst sequel since World War II. And Pat Morita had to suffer through both. Wax on, wax off. Nikki Glaser has no idea what I'm talking about right now because one, she only watches porn, and two, she's never waxed in her life. Hairy asshole! Big hairy asshole! Big hairy asshole! Big hairy asshole! Asshole! Thank you. I'm sorry, Jeff. I didn't mean to make you hungry. Hey, speaking of bleached hairy assholes, let's talk about Rob Lowe for a minute. Rob, in both your sex tapes, you appeared with 2 other people. Good God, man, you can't even carry a sex tape. You're like the me of sex tapes. Self-deprecating, beat you to the punch. Fun fact, Ann Coulter has a big, angry bush. No joke, that's just a fun fact. Rob's played many wonderful characters in film. Recently, he played JFK in the movie Killing Kennedy. Jesus Christ, hasn't that family suffered enough? Grassy, no! But not as grassy as Ann Coulter's big, angry bush. Instant callback. And who can forget Parks and Rec, where Rob played a guy who misused the word literally. Correct use of the word would be something like, I don't know, Rob Lowe has literally had sex with everyone in this room. Except Ann Coulter, because her bush is literally too angry. Yes, 3-peat. It's a 3-peat. They said I couldn't do it, but I did it. I nailed Ann Coulter's bush 3 times. Rob, you're a good man and a good friend, and I can't wait to see what failed pilot we're going to do together next year. All right, folks, I have literally run out of things to say about all these scumbags. Everybody wriggle out.
Thank you, guys. Coming to the podium next is the beautiful and talented Jewel. She was born in Alaska, and for the last 20 years, her career has been on ice. Jewel grew up in a house with no plumbing, so she turned her shit into music. She'll be leaving right after the show, but her tooth is gonna hang out. Please welcome Jewel.
Thank you. Thank you so much. It is an honor to be here. I do want to say, first of all, as a feminist, I can't support everything that's being said up here tonight. But as somebody that hates Ann Coulter, I'm delighted. So. It is nice to see my friend David Spade. You guys are well aware his assistant once tried to murder him, which, I don't know, I guess the stress of answering the phone twice a month finally got to him. That'd be hard. That'd be hard. David Spade, amazingly, has slept with some of the most beautiful actresses in Hollywood, proving just how ugly show business makes women feel. This little nugget, Pete Davidson. It's hard to recognize him when he's not on SNL or on an adventure with the man in the yellow hat. And Ralph Macchio is here. Who doesn't love Ralph Macchio? Bill collectors. And actual karate masters and, I don't know, real actors and Italians. You know, people. And there's Rob Riggle. Rob, you look like every dad who can't handle having a gay son. It's just what comes to mind, I don't know. And Peyton Manning is here because Eli is still out there making his dad proud. Jeff Ross is going to party like it's 1999, and Coulter is going to vote like it's 1899. And you do look great, though. You're almost as thin as Donald Trump's chance of winning the election, so that's cool. Actually, you wouldn't believe this. It's really a small world because last week I was behind Ann Coulter in line at Chipotle, and she ordered something to go. The entire kitchen staff. She was like, leave the country. What's weird is, believe it or not, gay men love Ann Coulter. It's because 2 seconds into hearing her speak, they remember why they hate pussy. Speaking of pussy, Rob Lowe. People may be wondering what my connection is to Rob. Well, years ago, I was cast in a show called Lion's Den. I'm sure none of you saw it because it starred Rob Lowe. But anyway, the first script said that Rob and I were supposed to kiss, and I asked them if they could rewrite it so I wouldn't have to, because I knew where that mouth had been. But they said no, and I had to do it. So years later, Rob wrote in his memoir that I was the only girl in history who did not want to kiss Rob Lowe. He talked about it on his book tour. He bitched about it on Howard Stern. He even made out with Ellen to show her what it was like. Yeah. Well, that part I actually kind of understood because kissing him did make me feel like a lesbian. So, Rob, I know you've always wondered why I didn't kiss you that day. So tonight I will tell you why, in song.
Rob was so shocked on the Lion's Den when I did not want to kiss him. You see, the problem, Rob, is you're such a whore. You completely forgot we hooked up before, 'cause you showed me your penis when I was just 16-ish. Back in 1988, I was the girl on your sex tape. Maybe you miss my name 'cause you were high on so much cocaine. Out of all your films, I'm the best thing you were ever in. Yeah, in his whole career, I'm the best thing Rob Lowe has ever been in.
And that's why I didn't want to kiss you, you son of a bitch. Thank you. Good night.
Jewel, holy shit. Jewel brought it tonight. Great job. All right, let's keep it going. If you don't know who Jimmy Carr is, He's a comic who sells out theaters in England, Hong Kong, Thailand, and Australia. There's a name for that in America. Opening act. Jimmy's like soccer. He's huge in England, but everyone in America just thinks he's kind of gay. He looks like his dick wears a monocle. Here he is, Jimmy Carr.
David Spade, our host this evening, doing a fabulous job. You look like a female Ellen DeGeneres. David is perhaps best known for his work with comedy legend Chris Farley. Tragically, Chris Farley died when his heart stopped due to a lethal combination of heroin, cocaine, and the stress of carrying David Spade through 2 movies. Peyton Manning is here. Obviously, I don't know much about American football, but I'm told Peyton Manning is one of the top 3 quarterbacks in his family. Peyton, you look like if a kid with Down syndrome wished he was big. Peyton had a long and prestigious career in the NFL. He played with some of the all-time greatest rapists, murderers, and wife-beaters. Come on, the only people who get more concussions than NFL players are their wives.
Oh, my God.
Rob Riggle claims he used to be a Marine. But he also claims he's now a comedian, so I don't know what to believe. Rob served in Afghanistan before becoming a stand-up comic. Then the real bombing began. Nikki Glaser is here, one of my favorites. On Nikki's Comedy Central show, Not Safe, she found out her father is hung like a horse. And we found out Nikki inherited her face from her dad's dick. Pete Davidson's here. I'm appalled that people would come here and make jokes about the sacrifice Pete's heroic father made on 9/11. This is not the roast of Pete Davidson's father. That was in 2001.
Oh, that was dope. Wow. Wow.
And Coulter. Here we go. Ann Coulter is one of the most repugnant, hateful, hatchet-faced bitches alive. But it's not too late to change, Ann. You could kill yourself.
Oh, my God.
Ann Coulter looks so much like a truck stop transvestite whore that I saw Jeff Ross run to an ATM just before the show.
That's great.
Ann Coulter's pussy. Seriously, this gets classy. Ann Coulter's pussy is now so old and dry that it's just got a job drawing cartoons for The New Yorker. Ralph Macchio. Obviously not the first choice of Rob's 80s co-stars to be here tonight. But Tom Cruise is too famous and Patrick Swayze isn't answering his phone. When Comedy Central was putting together the lineup for tonight, Ralph Macchio's name was at the very top of the list. And that list was marked worst case scenario. Jewel. Jewel has an incredible voice, an incredible body, and a face. Jeff Ross. Jeff is called the Roast Master because he works in a Starbucks. Jeff Ross is what cancer patients would look like if chemotherapy was cream-filled. And so we come to the iconic Rob Lowe. Rob Lowe is like a Ken doll. He's plastic and often the first thing to enter a teenage girl's vagina.
Is that true?
Underage girls always felt safe making sex tapes with Rob because they knew no one would ever watch a movie starring Rob Lowe. Rob has been involved in 4 lawsuits with former nannies. Rob says he didn't fuck those nannies, and I believe him because he's either telling the truth or he's the best actor in the world. It's been an honor being here tonight. My friends back at home aren't going to believe me when I tell them I got to roast Charlie Sheen's brother's friend. And I have to thank Rob Lowe, what a top man, allowing us to say such horrible things right to where his face used to be. Thanks very much. Good night.
You guys, Peyton Manning is here physically. Now, come on, we love Peyton Manning. We're lucky to have him tonight. I'll never forget Peyton's career. Sadly, he will. He may be the only person up here who's been given more head than Rob Lowe. Please welcome Peyton Manning.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thanks. Thank you. A lot. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thanks. Thanks. Thank you. Thank you. That's it. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you, David, for your first roast. This has got to be really exciting for you. Your performance so far reminds me of my rookie year in the NFL when I threw a league-high 28 interceptions and had absolutely no clue what I was doing. As we all know, I followed in my father's footsteps, but David, you forged a path on your own. I know you wanted to follow in your dad's footsteps, but he snuck out of the house so carefully he didn't leave any tracks.
Peyton Manning bringing it. He's bringing it.
But you did it anyway, David. You went out and got a business degree from Arizona State. Although, to be fair, I think we all know that a business degree from Arizona State is just a bar towel that says you read good. Speaking of reading, I recently read Spade's memoir, Almost Interesting. Actually, I'm lying. You really think the first book I pick up in 20 years is going to be by the guy who played Dickie Roberts, former child star? I don't think so.
What the fuck? No, Peyton.
By the way, David, that title, Almost Interesting, talk about false advertising. Now, if you wanted to be honest, you should have called it Almost Tall Enough to Ride a Roller Coaster.
I'll take it.
David Spade is dumb and short. Sorry. Bad habit, sorry.
There you go. I love it.
It's just a habit. It's a bad habit, I'm sorry. Jeff Ross, I love that new hairstyle, pal. It makes it so much easier for women to describe you to the cops. Now, all they have to say is, he looked like fat pit bull. Wow, I just realized that I am not the only athlete up here tonight. As you all know, earlier this year, Coulter won the Kentucky Derby. Congrats on that, Ann. Great job. Holy cow, stay gold, pony boy. It's Ralph Macchio. I'm a big fan, Ralph. The Outsiders, My Cousin Vinny, The Karate Kid. Remember when Mr. Miyagi taught you that crane kick? Gosh, was that awesome. It was even more awesome seeing you do it backstage to a vending machine that ate your dollar. But I gotta tell you, I have no idea who the rest of you guys up here are. I mean, I've been sitting up here tonight with all these folks that no one's ever heard of, thinking to myself, did I just get traded to the Jacksonville Jaguars? I mean, this day is, come on, they had to fly in some weirdo from England just to get enough guys up here. No offense, weirdo. It's Jimmy Carr, right? That's your name? Welcome to America. I know you guys use words differently there. Like, for example, in England, football means soccer, and here in America, Jimmy Carr means we couldn't get Russell Brand. I just met this guy, Pete Davidson, backstage before the show, a great guy. He asked to take a picture with me, and I didn't even realize he was one of the comedians. I told him, don't give up, kid. Whatever disease you have, you can beat it.
Yes, that's a Super Bowl champ. That's a Super Bowl champ. Yes.
But enough about these bench warmers. You guys didn't come here tonight to find out about these losers. You came here tonight to find out why in the heck I came here tonight. Well, 5 years ago, ESPN NFL insider Rob Lowe here tweeted out to the entire world that I was retiring from football. Not 5 months ago when I actually did retire, but 5 years ago, Soda Pop Curtis tweeted that I was done. Finished. I mean, Rob, I never tried to ruin your big moments. I didn't tell people when The Grinder got canceled, or when Dr. Vegas got canceled, or when Lion's Den got canceled, or when Moonbeam City got canceled, or when your DirecTV commercials got canceled. Heck, I was just thinking, if you'd been quarterback for the Broncos last year, the freaking Super Bowl would have been canceled. In fact, the only thing you're consistently on is Twitter, which is surprising because you've never been able to master one character, let alone 140. But look, pal, what's done is done. What do you say we put this whole thing behind us? I wish you well. I sincerely hope you can break this 20-season losing streak you've been on. But hey, I don't worry about Rob Lowe. He is a workhorse. And heck, man, if they ever stop casting you in sitcoms, just look on the bright side. You tried to take the air out of my retirement announcement so fast, you can probably get a job as Tom Brady's ball boy. God bless all of you, and God bless Rob Lowe, because he's going to need it.
You know, some people say Nikki Glaser is only here because she's good looking. Nothing could be further from the truth. If you haven't seen Nikki's show yet, you're me. Please welcome sexy adjacent Nikki Glaser.
David Spade, you guys, keep it going.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38, 39, 40, 41, 42, 43, 44, 45, 46, 47, 48, 49, 50, 51, 52, 53, 54, 55, 56, 57, 58, 59, 60, 61, 62, 63, 64, 65, 66, 67, 68, 69, 70, 71, 72, 73, 74, 75, 76, 77, 78, 79, 80, 81, 82, 83, 84, 85, 86, 87, 88, 89, 90, 91, 92, 93, 94, 95, 96, 97, 98, 99, 100, 101, 102, 103, 104, 105, 106, 107, 108, 109, 110, 111, 112, 113, 114, 115
David Spade, the host with the most step stools in your apartment. David, you've seriously influenced so many female comics' haircuts. Tonight, Jeff is dressed as Prince, the Prince of Wales, the animal. You're fat. Jeff, if you changed your name to a symbol, it'd be the Arby's logo. Jeff. No, Jeff, I'll admit, I've imagined Jeff without clothes. It's how I stay thin. Rob Riggle, I want to thank you so much for fighting the war against terrorism and subtlety. Jimmy A. Carr is what Ralph Macchio has to do to find a place to sleep every night. Jewel is here, or as I call her, Trailer Swift. Jewel, I do not want to badmouth you since God already did. No. I think your smile is cute. I feel like your teeth are like the Spice Girls. You know, they're all different colors and they're like doing their own thing. So that's fun.
Oh my God. That was funny.
Peyton Manning is here. That's not for you guys, that's for him. Peyton, you're here right now. You've had a lot of concussions. You're here. Don't murder your wife. I don't know much about football, but I love Peyton in commercials. You're so good at them, like legitimately. I'd say you're the greatest of all time. I'd say like, you're like the Tom Brady of being in commercials, you know? Like the greatest, like he's the greatest, right? So. And without further ado, Ann Coulter. Oh, Ann. What's it like to be like a real life supervillain? You know, like, I'd ask you how you sleep at night, but I'd assume just upside down in a robe of 101 Dalmatians. Ann Coulter has written 11 books, 12 if you count Mein Kampf. Yes. Ann's been called things like a racist, anti-Semitic, homophobic, a white supremacist, and that's just while getting plowed by Bill Maher. The only person you will ever make happy is the Mexican who digs your grave. Speaking of Hitler, Jeff, you and Hitler have a lot in common.
What's that?
Micro penis. You're bad at your art, and no one cared about you till you started roasting people. Guys, I can make that joke because I'm not Jewish, so I don't care. Don't be mad. At least I acknowledge the Holocaust. Anne doesn't even think it happened. Speaking of deniable tragedies, Rob Lowe. You're so fucking hot, I can't even stand it. Rob defies age restrictions. You're fucking Adonis. Look at you. You look like you're sculpted. I mean, you put the statue in statutory rape. I mean, right? God, I had such a crush on you when I was a little girl. If only I'd known that's when I had my best shot. Thank you so much.
All right, you might know our next roaster, Ralph Macchio, is the Karate Kid. And if you don't know him from that, then you don't know him. Ralph's only chance to be in a blockbuster went away when it went out of business. Please welcome Ralph Macchio.
Thank you, David. Yes, it's me, Ralph Macchio. The Karate Kid, yes. I still look the same, don't I? Right? Come on. My secret to looking so young? Not working. And Coulter, I'm glad to see you here, and I respect you. You're the one female commentator who's not afraid to stand up to take a leak. And it's great to be here with Super Bowl champ Peyton Manning. Come on, Peyton Manning. Peyton wrote a children's book. It wasn't meant to be a children's book, but he did the best that he could. Of course, Jeff Ross is here tonight. He's hilarious on Roast Battle. It's an hour of someone trying to wrestle a pork roast out of his hands. But Jeff, David, and all the rest of you, I want to thank you for being here tonight for my old friend Rob Lowe. My greaser brother from The Outsiders. How about that? Rob, because of that film, we are bound together for life. But you're Rob Lowe, and I'm just Ralph Macchio. Okay, Rob, I might not have your career, but if they were roasting me, the biggest star here would be a lot fucking bigger than me, all right? If I had a roast and the biggest star I could get was me, I would just do what Rob Riggle did and get the fuck out of show business. You did The West Wing with Martin Sheen. You were in Parks and Rec with Chris Pratt. And the biggest movie star you could get to show up tonight is Ralph fucking Macchio? That is pathetic, dude. And that's a direct quote from my kids. And yet, you keep going. How did you get a bigger career than me? I could have gotten all those shows you were on canceled if I was just given a chance. It's not fair. After people saw me as a likable, clean-cut kid, that's all they ever wanted me to be. They saw you fuck a 16-year-old and they're like, he looks like he can work in the White House. You charmed idiot. You did a sex tape and you still got work. You ruined Snow White at the Oscars and you still got work. You did The Grinder and here you are on TV again. I can't fucking escape you. You know how many times I've just been trying to forget about life, watch a little football when you pop up on my screen in one of those creepy DirecTV commercials? All of those different Rob Lowes. And not one of those scumbags could hook me up with a decent gig? You did 2 sex tapes and you couldn't give me a part? Come on, man. You know I'll be in any sequel. Nothing. Then out of the blue, I get this call from Comedy Central asking me to do a roast. Yeah, people are gonna shit on me for an hour, but if I do well, this could be my big comeback, right? Who are they roasting? Rob Lowe? Shit! It's probably being canceled right now. Unbelievable. I've had to take a lot of ass kickings in this business, but to take a beating tonight for you with those blue eyes and the fucking soft skin. God, you had it easy, princess. I hate you. I fucking hate you, Rob Lowe. I hate you like a brother. And that motherfucker is what you call acting. I love you, Rob. Good night.
All right, guys. And now a real treat for fans of hate watching. Ann Coulter's coming up. Ann hopes the Republicans can hold on to the House so she can continue to haunt it. She seems stiff and conservative, but Ann gets wild in the sheets. Just ask the Klan. Looks like she's having a good time. I haven't seen you laugh this hard since Trayvon Martin got shot. Please welcome Ann Coulter.
Thank you. I want to welcome everybody to the Ann Coulter roast with Rob Lowe. I'm so overwhelmed with the love in this room tonight. I can't thank you enough. It's really something. No, I'm not a comedian, which is why you can imagine I often get mistaken for Nikki Glaser. I'm only here tonight because of all of the love and respect I have for Rob Lowe and all these fabulous and talented performers tonight. It has nothing to do with this being the next stop on my press junket for the book I've just published 4 days ago, In Trump We Trust, E Pluribus Awesome. Pause for booze. Oh wait, I wasn't supposed to read that. Available at fine bookstores everywhere. I know it's pretty shameless, but I'm on a stage with a guy who made 2 Joe Dirt films, so how shameless can I be? As a right-wing hate monger, it's fantastic to be at a big Hollywood shindig with all these glittering celebrities that isn't a fundraiser for Obama. I'm hoping to persuade you all to vote for Trump, but most of all, I want you, David, because it would prove the media is lying when they say that Trump won't get the vote of a single Spade. David is the perfect roast master for the show. He's successful enough that everyone knows who he is, but not so successful that he makes us feel threatened. He's like the Mike Pence of comedy. A lot of people don't realize that David's sister is famous designer Kate Spade. Judging by your outfit, David, I gather you're not speaking. Why is Jeff Ross at every roast? He thinks he deserves it. Everybody else just goes along with it. He's like Hillary Clinton. Actually, to be fair, if I could get just one person here to vote for Trump, it would be you, Ralph. People would be so surprised. I'd go up and say, I got Ralph Macchio, he's voting for Donald Trump, and they'd say, oh, what a shock, Ralph is still alive? Just kidding, you look totally fantastic. It's unbelievable, Ralph. Can you believe this guy's like 54? He looks incredible. Whatever you've been drinking, you gotta send a few cases to Hillary. We have British comedian Jimmy Carr with us because of Obama's lax immigration policies. I must admit, I'm a little uncomfortable not only with the mean jokes, but the raw sexual commentary that's so popular at these roasts. I mean, apparently female comics have to be dirty to expand their fan base. Thank God you didn't have to go there, Nikki. If you've ever asked yourself, who do I have to screw to get a TV show in Hollywood, Nikki has the actual list. I'm honored to share this stage with a patriot, Rob Riegel. Thank you for your service. You were a Marine for over 20 years. You've seen things no man should have seen, including The Daily Show with Trevor Noah. Peyton Manning, I applaud your conservative convictions. I know you're a big supporter of Jeb Bush. That's a political contribution that will pay handsomely. Jeb got 4 delegates, which makes me laugh harder than any of the jokes tonight. I once thought Pete Davidson was just like Obama, a biracial goofball who ruined a once beloved institution, but it turns out I was wrong. Pete's not biracial.
Good one.
And now for the man of the hour. The man of the hour, the 1 hour left in his career, Rob Lowe. I'm a big fan of Rob Lowe's work, especially, of course, the taped threesome. To this day, that remains the most authentic performance I have ever seen at a Democratic National Convention. Rob was on The West Wing, where he managed the impossible task of being the most insufferable part of an Aaron Sorkin show. A few years ago, there was talk of Rob Lowe replacing Charlie Sheen when the government was deciding who to give AIDS to next. Rob's last show was called The Grinder. Hard to believe that a TV show named after a gay dating app wouldn't be a huge hit. I know some of you are saying I did this only to promote my book, In Trump We Trust, E Pluribus Auspem, available at bookstores everywhere, including the Barnes & Noble, where Ralph Macchio works. We all do what we do. Writers write, actors act. And Rob Lowe, what does he do? The truth is, Rob Lowe does a job that most Americans just won't do. He plays Rob Lowe. It's a thankless job, but we are all so grateful that you do it, Rob. Thank you.
Now the moment we've all been waiting for to be over. Jeff Ross. My buddy Jeff. He didn't even want to be here. He's just still stuck in his chair from the Bieber roast. Jeff took a shower before he got here. It's the only way he can get his dick wet these days. No, but honestly, the last box he crushed had a Big Mac in it. That was last night. Get ready for some Roast Master General Anesthesia with Jeff Ross.
Dearly beloved, my roast tonight is dedicated to the late, great Prince, who's gone but not forgotten. As opposed to Rob Lowe, who's forgotten but not gone. Rob, are you a Prince fan?
Yeah.
That's because you're a sexy motherfucker. You look like John Stamos' sister. I'm dressed like a prince to roast a queen. Your full name should be Rob Lowe Testosterone. Rob Lowe. Or as the girl in the sex tape said, Rob, no! Yeah, my hero Prince fought for creative freedom. And I think it's unfair that you have this reputation for being a diva and a bitch. Because if you were a man, they would just say you were strong and assertive. So when Comedy Central called me and said, Rob Lowe wants to be roasted, are you in, Roast Master? I said, I'm with her. Because it's not easy for actresses in their 50s, but you keep swinging, baby. Is it true that you're deaf in one ear? Yeah. That can be a real problem for you sometimes, because you can't hear the girl's parents coming home. Anyway, it's great to be here at the Comedy Central Roast of White Privilege. I know what you're thinking. How come there's no black people up here? We actually booked 2. They're just not here yet. And of course, my pal David Spade doing a killer job hosting this show tonight. Give it up for Dave.
So good.
He looks like Jane Lynch mid-transition. Dave, how'd you get here tonight? Little red Corvette? Congrats to my pal Pete Davidson, just voted Proactive's Breakout Comic of the Year. Pete Davidson is so young, Rob Lowe tried to fuck him on camera. And how fucking cool is it that Peyton Manning is here, fresh off a Super Bowl? Wow. Some people say Tom Brady is the best, but you know what? I say you're the best, dude. You took 2 different teams to the promised land, and you did it all with one missing chromosome. I just got Peyton Manning's new book. It's called Football Good, Fire Bad. And there's darling Nikki Glaser. Glaser? I just met her. Seriously, Nikki, how did a Jewish woman get a TV show about sex? What's it called? Not Now with Nikki Glaser? I'm kidding. I know you're not Jewish. Jews are funny. I reckon David Spade invited Jewel here because he really misses Chris Farley and he heard she used to live in a van down by the river. What can I say, Jewel? You're the only Jewel who gets less valuable with age. And what happened? You wrote 11 books, but you couldn't write a single fucking joke? And you have a face that would make doves cry. Oh, this is hard for a roast. How do I roast somebody from hell? Bitch. Oh, and that voice. Donald Trump. It's like fingernails on a chalkboard inside an inner city school you want to defund. Don't stare at me with that roasting bitch face. And's against gay marriage. What's your thinking on that? If I can't get a husband, they shouldn't either? Ralph Macchio, I fucking love you, dude. You were hilarious tonight, man. You really were. It's amazing how the Karate Kid prepared you for the rest of your career. Wax the car, paint the fence, sweep the floor. You know what, dude? You should change your name to Ralph Macchiato. Maybe you could work at Starbucks. I'm the biggest Karate Kid fan ever. Like your character, I'm also a black belt. I grew up in Newark, New Jersey. And I think it's so cool, Ralph, that you named your son Daniel after Danielson, your greatest role in your greatest film. That would be like Rob Lowe naming his son Nothing. The truth is, Rob, roasting you wasn't easy. I mean, what can I really say about you that hasn't already been said in court by 3 nannies, a chef, and an underage girl from Atlanta? So from one androgynous legend to another, I really hope you had fun tonight. And remember, Rob, we never meant to cause you any sorrow. We never meant to cause you any pain. But why couldn't it have been you that OD'd? Instead of the guy who wrote Purple Rain. Thank you, Rob. Prince, roast in purple.
All right. It's time we finally hear from our guest of honor, Rob Lowe. Rob's secret to keeping his face looking so young, having over 1,000 women sit on it. Rob wrote a memoir called Stories I Only Tell My Friends. Chapter 1, The Day I Fucked Your Wife. You're almost up. Despite all the insane jokes you've heard about Rob, he's actually had a great career, obviously. Rob has been in some of the most successful movies of our lifetime. I'm sorry, on Lifetime. We've had a lot of fun with Rob tonight, and just like his movies, now he's gonna ruin it by talking. The truth is, Rob's a great guy. He's a great family man. I did Tommy Boy with him. I love him. Please welcome the man of the hour, and I hope we're still friends, Rob Lowe.
We are at a unique moment in our country's history. Tonight is neither the time nor the place to sow the seeds of divisiveness. Words matter. People matter. Black lives matter. Not enough to have a black person on the dais, but trust me, they matter. I want to thank Spade for hosting tonight. He was amazing. Love you. Love you. Oh, by the way, SNL has just released a compilation of David's funniest sketches. It's called The Best of Chris Farley. You know, when they asked me to choose my dais, number 18 was number 1. Peyton Manning is a 2-time Super Bowl champion and a certain Hall of Famer, but it didn't give him a big head. That came from years of inbreeding. Peyton's here tonight to show Zika babies it could really be much worse.
Waiting for that one.
You know, Rolling Stone has called Jewel the poet laureate of her generation. Hey, Jewel, I've got a poem. Roses are red, your music sucks.
Second poetry too? Wow.
Jewel has performed for the Pope. In fact, it's the reason the Pope insists on always being in a soundproof glass box. Pete Davidson. Yeah, good to have you here tonight. You know, as he talks about in his stand-up and everywhere else, he lost his father on 9/11. Pete, your performance tonight was a fitting tribute to your dad because it was like watching a third plane hit the World Trade Center. No, really, I do think you're going to be the next Adam Sandler. And I knew it the minute I saw David Spade blowing you before the show.
I like the fall through, Mr. Lowe.
I made my wife laugh. What a rarity. It's 56 days to Halloween, but I see that Ann Coulter's already in her skeleton costume. People ask, why is Ann Coulter here tonight? Answer, because the Right to Lifers wanted everyone to see what an abortion looks like up close. And you know, Ann, after seeing your set tonight, I think we've all witnessed the first bombing that you can't blame on a Muslim. Rob Riggle! Rob, as we learned tonight, is a lieutenant colonel in the Marines and served in Afghanistan. By the way, great job on that. Rob was then going to serve his country further as a Navy pilot, but he decided to drop out and pursue a career in Hollywood like a true American piece of shit. Jimmy Carr. Born to Irish Catholic parents, raised Catholic, Jimmy first knew he was funny at age 9 when he made his priest laugh so hard that cum shot out of his nose.
Oh, boy.
Ralphie Macchio, my old buddy. From the outside, stay gold. You know, I never told you how amazing you were in that scene in the movie where you're beaten up in the park. Sadly, that happened to Ralph again just last week. That's the chance you take when you sleep in a park every night. I've been fortunate enough to have been a 5-time honoree in People magazine's 50 Most Beautiful People. Truly, a career highlight. But it should also be noted that Jeff Ross is also a 5-time honoree in Fat Shit Magazine's 50 Fattest Shits. Jeff Ross is also a 5-time honoree in Man Tit Magazine's 50 People Who Can Swallow an Entire Pumpkin.
What are you pecking on me for?
Jeff Ross is also a 5-time honoree in Leukemia Face Magazine's 50 People Who Look Like Eskimos on round 4 of chemotherapy treatment.
What did I ever do to you?
Oh my God, this has been fun. You know, tonight is the kind of experience that I am absolutely certain to remember for several days. And I want to thank everybody for trying to get under my flawless skin. But I really do want to thank everyone for taking the time to be here tonight. I want to thank my wife of 25 years, Cheryl Lowe, my sons, Matthew and John Owen. I hope it wasn't too painful for you. And I want to thank my fans for all the years of support. We've been in this relationship a long time, and it continues to be my honor. You know, 26 years ago, just before I quit drinking, I'd been nominated for my 4th Golden Globe. Publicly, it seemed like I was on top of the world, but privately, I had hit rock bottom. So I got sober. And that led me to this life that I'm so grateful to have today. But as I sat here tonight, being constantly reminded of my shortcomings, surrounded by this cast of mutants, I'm sorry, Anne, racist mutants, it hit me. I didn't hit rock bottom 26 years ago. I hit rock bottom an hour and a half ago. How the fuck did I end up here? And you know, I think it's because I stopped drinking. Well, that ends tonight. Because it's never too late to start making good choices. Oh, and by the way, if anybody's got blow, I'll meet you in the bathroom. I'm looking at you, Peyton Manning. Thank you, and good night.